Welcome to Voodoo Whiskey Gaming, and this is my late review of Arise, a simple story. I played it on the PS4 because it's a PS4 game. So it's an indie game, so this is probably going to wind up being a bit shorter of a review. The story in Arise is actually a kind of neat story. It opens up at a funeral pyre, and you basically are the guy who is, being cremated. You play as him in the afterlife, and you basically relive his memories, and I thought that was pretty cool. It is, in fact, a simple story. It starts out with him as a child, and you grow with him, and you watch his memories. I like the way they present the story because when you're playing him as a child, it's kind of a more fantastic world, it's exaggerated, it's childlike. And as he grows, he sees the world differently, but one of the neat things they do is there are collectibles, and they basically just show you this still art, and it's kind of neat, and it helps tell the story. As for the audio, it's mostly music and sound effects, and it's very serene. Both sound effects and the music are nice and calming, and it's just kind of a relaxing experience. As for the gameplay and gameplay mechanics, this is very much an interactive narrative with some platforming elements. There's a bit of climbing, there's a bit of jumping on objects and platforms, little bit of puzzle solving, and then there's some time manipulation. Each chapter is set between day and night essentially, and you can fast forward and rewind as necessary, allowing you to move things around, control the water level, move bees around so that you can use them as a hook to climb on and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's all very simple, a little too simple, and I gotta say, it gets a little boring and uninteresting. It's a charming concept, but it just starts to get boring. As for the controls, overall, they work very well. I did have a few times when I was platforming that I felt like I missed a jump and it really wasn't on me. But you respawn so quickly and so close to wherever you were that it doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal if you do fall and, die again. But overall, I think the controls worked for controlling the time, moving around, and most of the platforming. Lastly, there are the graphics. I really like the art design. It looks like you're playing in a children's book, essentially. It's got a very whimsical art style, very colorful, and it's kind of simplistic, which fits with everything else going on. But I can't say enough good things about the visuals. I really did like the way they looked. They were warm, inviting, and once again, relaxing. So to get into the wrap-up, everything being said about this game, it's a charming little story, it's got its charming concepts in gameplay. I do admittedly love the visuals, but overall, the experience just doesn't warrant the price tag. It's not like this is a full-price game, it's not crazy expensive, but it's just a charming little experience with a charming little story that begins to get boring rather quickly. Both the gameplay and not really the story, but it's also not such a fascinating story that it keeps you fully interested and always wanting to know what's coming next. It's only a $20 game, and yet after the first level, I began to sit there and think, and it just sat there in my mind that I paid too much. Honestly, if this were maximum a $12 game, I would have no problem recommending it, but as it is at $20, I can't say buy this. So sadly, as charming as the game is, I'm comfortable saying skip it. I really wouldn't recommend anyone buy this game. Which is sad, because there's nothing inherently terrible about it, but there's also nothing that really sucks you in and warrants the price. Okay, so in the comments below, why don't you tell me of a game that you thought was way overpriced? I can think of a few. Left Alive, for example. That game's very existence is just painful. And, having bought it and played it, oh. As always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you like what I'm doing in general, share, subscribe. Have a good one.